Good afternoon. So today, we're talking about the strategy to land that job. Now you're speaking to someone that is currently technically unemployed, but working on an ad hoc basis. So, here is the strategy. So, what you want to do at first, you want to generate leads, yeah? Reach out back to those recruiters, have your open to work on, and be niche in your skill set. So currently I'm looking for a sales role. So I've put on there that I'm looking for sales development representative roles in London. Just reply to those recruiters because they really have your back and they can also train you in interview technique. Next we go to job boards. What job boards are you using, you might ask? Well, I'd love to tell you. So I use Welcome to the Jungle, which is popular in France actually. So it's popular with European international companies. I use Jack and Jill AI, that is amazing. But sometimes it posts jobs that have already been filled. So yeah, those two, LinkedIn, just be a boss on LinkedIn, babes. And then what else? The Indeed and also Total Jobs, and then just directly reaching out to companies that you've had your eye on for a while. And that brings me to the existing network. So what you want to do is you want to post so that your existing network know that you're looking for your next role, and then just reach out to those recruiters that you previously added. Say, look, I'm now looking for another job or something like that. And your mentors, you should have some mentors surely. So just reach out to all of those people, and then I'm sure that you'll get some buzz around your name really, because it's all about creating brand image. Make sure that LinkedIn post is good. If you're a part of any clubs or societies, reach out to them and say, look, I'm looking for a new job, because your community is your friend, obviously. Then, next new strategy, you have the CV. So I was taught this in a job seeking interview, job seeking one-to-one appointment at the job centre. So now companies are using ATS technology, and what that means for you is that if you're not saying the same words in the job description on your CV and in your cover letter, then you're automatically ruled out, and 80% of candidates for each role you're going for are using this. So it's actually a game changer. So what you need to do is go onto JobScan and see how your CV scores and how your cover letter scores against the job description. And if it's below like 80 to 90%, then you're probably not going to get through to that first stage interview. And then you need a strong storyline. So what are your best assets and how are you going to portray them on a CV so that they're seen by an in-person recruiter? So that's what I have for the CV. I also have hints and tips about the CV. Are you going to do it chronological? Are you going to do it skills-based? And make sure that your little profile summary is really tailored to the job description too. And you have stats and examples for everything that you're citing. And use those good verbs like generated, acquired, all of those different things. And then, but most importantly, do not lie, because you will be caught out in a job interview. And then finally, the interview stage. What have I put here? So, what I like to do is, pre the interview, I like to add the hiring managers or whoever's interviewing me on LinkedIn and say, look, I'm looking forward to our interview tomorrow. And then they'll say, yeah, brilliant. And then post-interview, you say, thank you so much for giving me your time today. I appreciate that, you know, you're busy, but it was really lovely. Or just keep it simple, you know. Just say thank you for your time, because that may boost you just that little inch above the other candidates. And then secondly, the in-interview feedback. So you should constantly be asking, you know, if you've been asked to deliver a task or something, you should say in your interview, oh, what did you think of that cold call scenario? What did you think of my presentation within the interview, so you can get that feedback, because you know what, they might not give you feedback if they're rejecting you or if they're hiring you at the end of your process with them. So it's really good to do in-person feedback. Collate the feedback and reflect on it. So in my most recent interviews, they were saying, Louisa, you waffle a lot. So next time, if I'm going for companies that don't like waffle, I should kind of acknowledge that prior to the call. And next time, if I go for a role like that, I'm going to be so concise in my answers and not make it kind of conversational as some interviews actually are. And then finally, you want a hard close. You want to say literally these words. What, if any, reservations do you have about me that I can expand on? And then you say, okay, well, that's understandable if they have any reservations, but what I'd like to express is this, blah, blah, blah. Or if they don't have any reservations about you, or you've finished that part of the reservation rebuttal, then you say, okay, brilliant, well, what are the next steps? And that shows that you're ready to close on the call, and American companies really like that, and also UK companies do like that, because it makes them reflect in the moment and they can get through the recruiting process quicker with you, because they're acting on their good feeling in that moment, and it ultimately sets you apart. But yeah, ultimately that is how I'm prospecting for getting a sales role at the moment. One thing that I'm needing to work on is the cold call scenarios. So I'm a little bit scared of the scenario at the moment because I haven't done a cold call in a while. So I am going to practice with my friends and family, and also read books. Like currently I'm reading The Way of the Wolf. That's also a good tip. You should say, you know, your wider reading or research, and make sure you really research the company and have a lot of questions about the company prepared. But ultimately, you need to answer, why me? Why this job description? And why the company? And your why the company needs to be very strong, because at the end of the day, it's a tough world out there, and you want to be seen as performing the best, and you also want to tell them that you're going to excel in the role as you previously have done with all your prior experience. But yeah, that's all from me today. Love you loads. See you later.